Hey everybody, welcome back to Comeback vs. Debut. I'm Montblanc, a Gen 2 K-pop veteran who's been out of the loop for over a decade. In my journey to get to know the modern scene, I started a series where I check out the latest and also first music videos from modern K-pop artists that I'm trying to get to know. Today, that group is the highly requested Stray Kids. I've really been looking forward to checking out this and that since it was first announced. And of course, that means that we're also going to take a look at District 9 from their first mini album. I am not. This is admittedly a JYP blind spot for me, and I've historically loved groups from this company, so I'm pretty curious to see what they have in store for us. For a bit of reference, my JYP boy groups were 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. So I'm definitely going into this blind. I can't even imagine like what a JYP boy group would look like outside of those two, of course, but that was a pretty unique concept when it came out. And I don't really see them wanting to replicate that formula. I guess we'll see. All right. This and that. Honestly, when this was announced, I was pretty excited because people really ride hard for Stray Kids, and they've been all over my comments trying to get me to check them out, and I wanted to, but I thought, especially once this was announced, like, that's the time, right? And I think they debuted in like 2018 or something like that. So like 8 years is a long distance, a long time for them to have grown and changed. And I think that this will make for a really interesting video. Okay, let's see what they have in store with this and that. Everything I do multiply by two. I got this and that, this and that. We could take a coupe or a truck, vroom, vroom. I got this and that, this and That's a very handsome man. But you know, in America, no, I'll take this and that, this and that. I'ma rip a show and then hit the studio. I do this and that, this and that. Groovy, gotta look at me. Give me proof that do my little 끝났지. 머리를 굴리가 낙대로 still moving. Stopping 나의 눈 감아 봐도 분위기는 자칫 내비도. 그래도 찾아오지 시선대로 오지랖 곱빼기 빼도 요청 나를 써놨어. 제발요 나왔어 우리가 나왔어. 골라서 내가 선택한 대로 flow it. 원래 가고 싶은 대로 I run it, run it, run it. Everything I do multiply by two. I got that dude reminds me of Len back in the day. Also, like, do you think that they recorded this with like those 3D mics? The way that their vocal tone and like the way that their voice is like layered into the track has such a like textured element to it. This is really fascinating. I love the production because it's, all things considered, like really pared back and minimal, but they're like making interesting choices. Wow, cool. This and that, this and that. We could take a coupe or a truck, boom, boom. I got this and that, this and that. Cappuccino in America, no, I'll take this and that, this and that. I'ma rip a show and then hit the studio. I do this and that, this and that. 원해 더 멈출 수 없는 challenge. Hot and cold 뭐든 괜찮아 no damage. I ain't getting no pain. I show you the way. I got no shame and I'm 이것저것 랩까지 이미 오래 뺐지. Yeah 지루하면 뺐지 그건 오래전에 뺐지네. 랩은 고기 뺐지 절대 빠질 수 없겠지네. 왼쪽 가슴 속에 박힌 straight kids batch. 절대 남은 찌찌찌찌 해서 꿈을 sketch. Let's get it 기획해줘 성공과의 match. Wow, not expecting that vocal tone from him. Wow. We could take a coupe or a truck, vroom, vroom. I got this and that, this and that. Cappuccino in Americano. I'll take this and that, this and that. I'ma rip a show and then hit the studio. I do this and that, this and that. Okay, I have to say, like, I was not expecting something that I could, like, easily see 2 p.m. sliding into, but I can definitely I can How do I finish the sentence? I could easily see them doing something like this. Wow. I really like this. Why am I surprised that I like this? Like, everybody said that Stray Kids was super cool, and they all told me that I should check them out. It's like the production, I guess it's like the style of the song is not typically something that I personally go for all of the time, but like I really, really like this.
We can go fast, we can go slow. If you can choose, you can have both. Can't stop us now. Go! Everything I do multiply by two. I got this and that, this and that. We could take a coupe or a truck, vroom vroom. I got this and that, this
Wow.
and that. But you know, in America, no, I take this and that, this and that. I'm not rip a show and they hit the studio. I do this and that, this and that. This and that.
Sick. Sick.
This and that, this and that.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Oh, man, I really love this like new era of JYP. That's kind of crazy. 2018 does not like put them in the quote unquote new era. This is like Gen 4, right? I have to say that like there is one piece of this that's not quite my favorite, and it is the sort of modern color grading that they've been using for groups like NMIX or ITZY like late career. Now that we're like motto I'm thinking of specifically. It is like really cool and like fresh, but I don't know. Somehow it doesn't really work for a boy group like this, in my opinion. I think it could use with a little bit more punchy coloring. But I guess like the argument could be made that like no, like if you consider something like this hair tone would be like pretty crazy if they dialed up the contrast a little bit more. Also, I do think that this kind of hyper textured spiky hair is going to be one of those things that we look back on this era and be like, ugh. It's very like Cordis is famous for this, right? Also, I was not expecting this guy at all. He's a very, very handsome, beautiful to be fair. And then when he comes in with a rap, I'm just like, ah, love that. I love that. Yeah, this one is definitely about the song production for me, and it's absolutely going into like a bop playlist that I have going because this is sick. This is sick. It's so hype, but like the tempo is like medium. It's not easy to do something like that. Wow. Okay, so from the little bit that I know from Stray Kids, they've kind of like always had like mm, they've gone their own direction. Let's say that. So this is it definitely stands out in the landscape, but I kind of love that like what the modern landscape of K-pop, well, let's say has space for. It's not like everybody's doing this, but has a lot of space for is individuality and like very unique character. Like if you consider like what's the larger overarching meta right now, yeah, like there's like house production. This is not in that at all. And then like these cool like almost desaturated like fresh crisp tones in music videos, but I would also argue that like they've always gone interesting directions when it comes to music production, but there's almost like a sense of like people really playing with that and pushing the boundaries of music production in K-pop in this current era, and I really really love that. And this is I'm happy that my introduction to Stray Kids has been like that sort of mentality as well. So I'm definitely curious to see what the debut looks like when the company has like a much tighter rein on them and what they can do. I also like I know that it's very common nowadays for groups like this to be participating in music production, songwriting, and so on. So if you have some extra information as far as their contributions to this goes, I would love to know that as well. Oh, and definitely their contribution as far as their debut goes as well. Hmm. 8 years is a long time. And when I'm considering their image, it seems like they kind of like play with the paintbrushes of the current modern era in terms of fashion. And I don't know that it necessarily gave me the most like unique impression. But when it comes to debuts, it's almost like companies will use the same sort of like meta language that's happening in fashion and like the current landscape, but it's really important for groups that are debuting to stand out and like apart from their competition. So it's always really fascinating to consider like ways in which visually they'll be separated from their peers. So I am expecting to see some of that in District 9, but I'm curious to see what the quote unquote like special stamp is for Stray Kids. Okay.
Warning. Containment breach detected in sectors 4.
Ooh, love that. Wow.
참 말들이 많아 what 헛소리만 늘어 잔소리나 욕짓거리는 제발 그만해 죽이 되든 밥이 되든 내가 알아서 할게 사실 난 나를 몰라 답답해 연대 난 매일 고민 중 Answer me 그럼 해답을 줘봐 속 시원한 대답 좀 못하면 제발 가서 좀만 please 여기는 느리 좀 느리지 이 안에서 누리를 데려 움직인 내 구역 District 9 싹 다 뒤집어 놔 다 뒤집어 놔 부정적인 시선 지워 back up 그건 잘못됐어 나는 나를 잘 모르는데 왜 네가 나를 아는 듯이 말해 Get lost 여긴 우리 구역 Get out of here 내가 끼리 자리는 없어 District 9 Better watch out 위험하니까 Better watch out 우리 구역 District 9 Stray kids everywhere all around the world 떠들지들 말고 여기로 찾아오렴 Stray kids everywhere all around the world 점점 커져가는 그들의 발걸음 소리 남들이 우리를 볼 때 문제 아들의 무리 그런 시선들을 바꾼다는 건 쉽지 않은 문제풀이
Nice, very nice.
편견들의 풀이 죽을 수는 없지 우리가 누구인가를 증명하는 게 우리들의 임무지 그들은 말해 너네 나랑 다르니까 여길 떠나줘 근데 다르다는 말은 틀린 게 아니란 것만은 알아줘 그 시기 받을 시기 우리 위친 작은 빛이 그게 비치는 디스트릭트 아홉으로 시작해 끝은 아마 모두의 아직 싹 다 뒤집어 놔
Damn, they've grown up a lot. I like wasn't feeling like they were giving adult not that they were like giving kid or anything like that, but okay, specifically I'm thinking about recently I did a comeback versus debut for Idol, and like that's like woman, right? And they're not giving like man for this and that, but there is a lot more maturity, and you can definitely see them growing into their charisma and being able to command scenes in a way that is not quite there yet, because they seem so like young and youthful in this, which is really fun. I don't know if it has the quite the like standout stamp that I was expecting, but we do have some time to go, and I do love a lot of the elements of this music video so far, especially like that when they opened up and they had this like vintage film, like analog, like actual film quality to whatever they were shooting. It looked really, really cool. They're so cute!
Cold up and freeze. Hey, 땀을 젖은 채.
Who put that voice in, that little boy?
전 지워 back off 그건 잘못됐어 나는 나를 잘 모르는데 왜 네가 나를 아는 듯이 말해 oh get lost 여긴 우리 구역 get out of here 자리로 서 District 9
Very cool logo. Extremely cool.
Better watch out 위험하니까 Better watch out 여기 우리 구역 District 9
Oh god. Oh god. Do I love like a rebellious teenager aesthetic? This is exactly what I'm talking about in terms of like the film filter, whatever they were using. Gives like almost like a 70s grindhouse film or something like that. I do kind of wish that they had kept it for a little bit longer, and I would say that there's this piece of debuts where like you need to showcase all of the skills. So I understand them taking the route of doing like a performance based music video, but I personally am a super big fan of story driven narratives, and I am sure that it's in here. I will need to rewatch it to sort of uncover the deeper layers of that, but it's nice. It's really cute. It's very youthful. They were obviously very young here, so I do kind of like that. I like. There's certain groups where I think that if I'm gonna go through your discography and like explore more of your work from this like comeback versus debut format, like I need to check out the genesis of all of this. And from Stray Kids, I almost feel like working my way backwards, like I did with BTS, would be a really rewarding direction to take. Also, because I feel like I will probably like the music in their later career better. Which is not to say like I dislike District 9. I just it's a surprising group. Actually, I kind of love that the most about JYP. The talent that they find is unlike any other company. SM, like they kind of go the like more quote unquote traditional route, and they need like somebody with like a lot of polish, but it's never unexpected the people that they choose. Whereas like JYP, it's just like, where the hell did you find these people? And it's always like that. And the way that they compose their groups is it's got this like mentality that is very unlike any other company as well. So this is rewarding. I would love to know a little bit more about like what the idea was behind their debut, because there's always like group concept in the very beginning. Stray Kids, along with the messaging for this song, kind of makes a lot of sense. So there is a stronger branding that like, we're gonna go our own way and you can't tell me what to do and you're not my dad. But starting from that foundation, I have to say that like where they got is really, really, really nice. So I can't wait to check out more from them. If you have some ideas that you think probably speak to more like their specific artistry as opposed to whatever it is that the company was hoping for them, I think that I would prefer that sort of entry point for Stray Kids, and I think that it will probably make it a more enjoyable experience getting to know them on that front. So please share your thoughts on that. With me, on that with me, whatever. Okay, I think that this was a really successful comeback versus debut episode. There's quite a lot of contrast between these two, and I really, really, really like this and that. District 9. Well, it's okay. Yeah, considering where they get to at this point, I can see a trajectory in my mind, which is not always the case with these comeback versus debut episodes. Sometimes it's just like, how in the hell did this happen? But with this case, I think that they had a very strong, unique character to begin with, so you can kind of extrapolate how that will develop over time. I do kind of love this thing that they have going on where it's like, even now that they're 8 years into their career, it's like babyface and then some like really sick and like dirty rap comes out. Maybe not dirty lyrically because it's K-pop, but like they got some edge. I really like that. You can tell that their influences are probably not what you would expect. So that's really enjoyable for me. Yeah, I guess that's it for me today. I would really, really enjoy some recommendations if you have some that you think really speak to their specific style, and who they are as artists. And then, like I said, I would love a little bit of background as far as like their contribution production wise, songwriting X, Y, and Z. I'm always super curious to know that, and I think that fans have the best perspective, because they're interested not only in the media itself, but usually the story behind the scenes, and that's not something that you can kind of get from industry publications, news articles, whatever. So yeah, I would love for you to share a little bit of that with me. I definitely want to check out more from Stray Kids, and when I do, of course, I'll put all of those reactions into my Stray Kids playlist, which I will link here and also in the video description down below. That's it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that I will see you for another Stray Kids one, but if not, I'll see you somewhere else. Bye!